Viewers, today we'll learn how to write an analytical paragraph. So let's jump into it. Before I tell you how to write an analytical paragraph, let's have a look on this line graph. The given line graph provides information about changes in birth and death rates in New Zealand between 1901 and 2101. Write an analytical paragraph summarizing the information and make comparisons. Now just have a look. Let's start. So the graph shows changes in the birth and death rate in New Zealand since 1901 and forecasts. Forecast means to speculate on the basis of facts and figures. Trends till 2101. So it shows the comparison from this year to this year. Okay. Between 1901 and 2041, the birth rate has been consistently higher than the death rate. It means the birth rate from this year, that is 1901, from this year to 2041, from this year. So you can see the birth rate is higher and higher. It keeps increasing. Clear? At the start of this period and started increasing gradually after that. It reached to it stood at 20,000 in 901. Means in 901 it was just 20,000. At the start of this period and started increasing gradually after that. So it started increasing after that year. It reached to its peak around 65,000 in 1961. So in 1961, that is this. Okay, it was at its peak level. Since then, the birth rate has fluctuated between 50,000 60,000. So after that, it's fluctuated between this figure. Okay, 50,000 and 60,000. It is expected to decline in the coming years, reaching approximately 42,000 by 2101. Means by this year it is going to decline. Okay, you can see this is the line that represents birth, so it tends to decline in the coming years. In contrast, the death rate stood at around 10,000 in 1901. So during this period, let's talk about the death rate. So it was very less. Now, and has increased steadily after that. Now it is increasing, but steadily it is increasing. It is expected to rise strikingly from 2021 before leveling off to approximately 60,000 between 2061 and 2081. See, 2061, okay, this one, and 81, this one. It is going to be level off, means it's going to be constant, level off. The graph shows a huge gap between birth rate and death rate from 1961 to 2001. Means a huge gap. Means 1961 to 2001. That is 2001. There is a huge gap. See, you can see the huge gap. This is the huge gap. And this is the huge gap from this. So this is the birth rate, this is the death rate. So there is a huge gap between birth rate and death rate. However, this gap is expected to reduce in the later years. Now we can see it is going to reduce the later years. Even it is going to reverse. This is the point. So it is going to reverse. Deaths are going to be higher and birth rates are going to be less. Overall, as opposed to the prevailing trends, the death rate will be reversed and will be more than the birth rate in the later part of this century. So, on the basis of this line graph, so let's discuss the meaning of analytical paragraph. So you must have got a fair idea about how to write an analytical paragraph. So let's understand its meaning. An analytical paragraph is a form of descriptive, okay, Descriptive writing, which is written on the basis of a given chart, graph, data, outline, clues, table, etc. Okay, so you will be given either chart, graph, data, outline, clues, table. So you just need to describe that. It requires analysis and comparison of the given facts and drawing conclusion based on the given data. Okay, so we need to describe exact figures, and out of that we need to draw the conclusion. When writing an analytical paragraph, one should remember to describe the facts in the best possible manner and cover the information provided. Means here it's an important point. You don't have to give your expert opinion. Okay, you just need to describe the line graph according to its facts and figures. Okay, only information provided. You cannot go beyond that. The paragraph must use clear and crisp language along with providing complete details of the data provided in the question. Okay, your language should be straightforward, precise, brief, and it should provide the entire information, complete information that is being asked in the question. Now, what are the features of analytical paragraph? So first of all, it describes chart, table, data, graph, cues. Then it should be brief and comprehensive, means it could be understood easily but at the same time include complete information. So it must include complete information. So it states the facts that are provided, so only facts. Okay, you cannot add of your own. It should have simple and accurate language. Okay, figures and quantities appropriately. So figures are given, quantities are given, so you need to present them appropriately. Should use the same tense throughout as far as possible. However, you can use different tenses, but you should stick to one tense as far as possible. So personal observation or responses, that's a very important part. Don't incorporate your own expert opinions. It is just not required. It should preferably use the passive form. Okay, so preferably you should use the passive form. Format of an analytical paragraph. So we have again three main elements. The content of the paragraph must include the following: introduction. Okay, it should contain 2 lines that states about the paragraph, what it is about. Okay, body of the paragraph. In this body of the paragraph, it's really important, detail the figure and trends, making comparison and contrast. Okay, conclusion. So overall view or summary of the chart or graph. Now, what are the points that you need to keep in mind? We must not include any personal opinion, conclusion, observations, but simply stick to the facts. Okay, we have already discussed it. We must choose wisely the important information, organize it well, state the correct facts, and summarize it properly. Almost the same point. Okay, now for introduction, we can have different interpretations, like the chart given above describes. You can write like this: the given table suggests, the line graph shows, the data given provides information about, the pie chart illustrates. Okay, so you can use this various forms. For body of the paragraph, we should organize the information well. We should look for the large difference that are very important, like we have just discussed in the line graph, the huge difference between birth and death rates. Okay, very prominent. We can mention the aspect which is smallest or the largest in the data given, smallest and the largest aspect. Any aspect that is similar should be mentioned next. We should further mention about the aspect that has remained unchanged or constant throughout. Means we should also mention about the fact which remained constant throughout the paragraph throughout the line graph. If the chart or table mentions two different groups, we should refer to both of them in the paragraph. Of course, like we discussed, it's imperative to discuss both the line graphs, means birth and death. We discussed both. If there is any contrast or comparison that could be drawn, we must present it effectively. Okay, if you see there is um, some difference that should be come to the line, that should come to the limelight, so you must go ahead and show that. If the chart is about a particular time period or highlights trend of several years, we should mention about each year in a concise manner. Okay, if you see, okay, every year there are some fluctuations, so you can show that. If any comparison or contrast can be made for 2 or more years, we should write about that too. Okay, it is as per the requirement of the line graph or any other graph. So the most important, so how to describe the pattern of growth? So we have some tailor-made phrases, okay, which we must keep in mind while writing analytical paragraph. So what are those? How to show the pattern of growth? By using rapidly doubled, skyrocketed, striking increase, peaked, soared, declined, plummeted, leveled off, stagnated, fluctuating, starting to rise, starting to fall, drop down slightly. Okay, so these are the words which are going to be handy when you write about the growth, pattern of growth. Mentioning quantities, so how can you mention quantities? One third of, nearly one fourth of, majority, on an average, twice as much, almost equal, the highest, the lowest, approximately. So you can use these words and phrases. So how can you show the relationship or contrast? So you can use however, whereas, opposed to, while, a striking difference, a noticeable difference. Okay, so in conclusion you can write subsequently, overall, in all, in a nutshell, in short, therefore. So these are the words and phrases which you can incorporate in your writing. Now I hope you can write easily about this line graph which we have already discussed. Okay, just give it a try. Now let's solve some other examples, and in these examples there would be different kind of line graph charts, okay, bar graphs, pie charts, etc. So let's understand everything, with all the examples. The given chart shows the division of the household tasks by gender in Great Britain. Write an analytical paragraph describing the chart in not more than 100 to 150 words. Now look at it carefully. Division of household tasks by gender in Great Britain. So minutes per person per day. Okay, so this is a timeline. Now these are the tasks: cooking, baking, washing, cleaning house, tidying, gardening, pet care, care of own children and play, maintenance, odd job, clothes, washing, ironing. Okay, so the red depicts the male, while blue bar depicts the females. Okay, so these are the facts given, figures are given. Let's understand it. So again, the introduction. The chart provides information about the division of household tasks by gender in Great Britain and the number of minutes per day spent by both males as well as females in doing various tasks. So this is the introduction part. Okay, now the body. On an average, women spend approximately 4 hours doing the household tasks, whereas men spend less than 2.5 hours for the same. Means women spend more time according to this graph. The tasks on which women spend more time than men include cooking, cleaning and house, taking care of children and laundry. Like we can see the example. Okay, so the blue one. So women, they tend to spend lots of time, so you can see, right? Now, in doing all these tasks, women spend approximately 200 minutes, which is almost 3 times the time spent by men in accomplishing these tasks. Okay, so you can make the comparison. On the other hand, men spend twice the time than women in doing tasks like gardening and maintenance of water. Means men invest most of their times in gardening and maintenance of odd jobs in the house. Men spend majority of their time, almost 50 minutes, in gardening and pet care, whereas women spend only 30 minutes for these tasks. Okay, you can instantly make the comparison. The time spent by men in washing, ironing and sewing clothes is as low as 2 minutes per day, as opposed to 25 minutes spent by women. So men spend really less time on these activities like clothing, sewing. In a nutshell, women spend far more time when it comes to doing household chores than men who prefer to do gardening, pet care and maintenance of odd jobs. So you can make contrast. So with let's understand next example with this pie chart. The given pie chart shows proportion of people from different household livings in a state of poverty in UK in the year 2002. Write an analytical paragraph based upon the information provided in about 120 words. Now, proportion of people from each household type living in poverty. So this is the single aged person. So this is the highest one. Single aged couples. These are the aged couples. No, I think this one. This single without children, single couples without children, this sole parents. Yes, these are the sole parents. This color. Couples with children, so couples with children, all household 14%. So these are the facts given. Let's understand. The given pie chart illustrates 7 different categories of household living in poverty in UK in the year 2002. So this is the introduction part. It is clearly evident from the pie chart that 26% of the total poverty-stricken households were those of sole parents who formed the majority. So what is the majority? Sole parents. Okay. Majority is of the sole parents. See. Now, single people without children accounted for the second highest proportion. It is okay, yes, single people without children accounted for the second highest proportion of 24%. Okay, in hierarchy, in a hierarchy we can do that. In contrast to couples without children who accounted for just 9%, couples with children accounted for 15% of the poor household. Single aged persons formed 7%, whereas aged couples formed 5% of the poor household. So we have given these data. Okay, over 14% of all the households in the UK were living under poverty in the year 2002. In all, the younger generation seemed to have a greater percentage than their aged counterparts, and couples without children had better economic conditions than those with children. So you can compare and contrast with the families and the people so who are more economically dependent and economically independent. So you can make a contrast. So this is just for your idea, so you must have got an idea how to do that. So the last one is okay. The following table shows details about the different internet activities for 6 categories of people according to different age groups. Study the table and write an analytical paragraph based upon it. Okay, so this data is given in the table form. Internet activities by age group. So this is the age group, okay, age group. So these are the activities, okay. News, online games, downloads, product research, buying a product, searching for people, okay. Then so the given table suggests the internet activities of six age groups ranging from teens to those in their 70s for six different kinds of activities on the internet. So this is the introduction part. So you have told in this information that the table is about using the net, okay, internet activities from children to the aged person. The table shows that the young generation is more interested in online games and news, whereas the older generation spends time on the internet in order to research and buy products. So they spend most of their time in research and buying products. It is evident from the table that 81% of the teens mainly use the internet for playing online games, and many are also interested in news and downloads as well as in buying products. Okay, now the middle age group, that is people in the age group ranging from 20s to 60s, is highly interested in getting news, doing product research and buying products, with the percentage ranging from 70-80%. The internet activity which gets the least time is searching for people. All the age groups spend less than 30% of their internet time on the same. Okay, so again we can make the comparison and contrast. The amount of time spent on downloads with age and gets as low as 6% for the people 70 in 70s. Overall, the table suggests that teenagers are most likely to spend time playing games and doing downloads. On the other hand, all people on an average are interested in researching and buying products. It is also significant to note that people spend the least amount of time when it comes to searching for other people. So gradually, step by step, you can provide every information, and at the same time you can compare and contrast with other facts and figures. So this is how you can complete your paragraph. I hope you understand, and this one is for your practice. Just take a screenshot and start practicing it. So you have got an idea how to do. Now it is sheer practice which will make you perfect, okay. So the more you practice, the more perfect you become. Thank you. Have a nice time. Take care.